Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you tricks with the Railgun cannon. Well, in this case, the Dragon cannon, because Railgun cannons aren't really used in high life setups. Now this is a really good tutorial or like guide to help you make your own setup that can actually get you, some crazy times like even 16, 17 seconds. And it could be, this isn't the one-stop guide. I am just showing you tricks. I'm not showing you any setups. You'll have to figure it out on your own, but generally this will help you get you started. First of all, I'm going to touch on line lengths. Now, line lengths, these are only for the Dragon cannon because Railgun cannon actually has it works a little different. So line lengths, you might have heard if you watched any of my streams or watched anything on Miners Haven building setups. You might be familiar or like just don't know what it's called. A 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. 0.9 is sometimes used, but it rarely is used because it's so long and it takes up so much of the base. But yeah, I'm gonna just break down. Basically 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, those are lengths of your base. Or like, percentages of your base. Like 0.6 is that like 60% of your base is taken up with items. And generally, 0.6 is 38 units. This is set up right now as a 0.6. And then 0.7 is actually 7 units larger at 45 units. Sometimes, in some cases, it can be 44. But for the basic 0.7, it is in fact 45. And I'm going to move that to reflect that. And I will actually have to lower this down by 1 if I do that, so that ores can and I'm not going to show you any turns. There are turns that you can use 0.7, such as Eye Teleporter, Temporal Enchantment, and on the off occasion, Ice Fortress. With 0.7, I found that with 0.7 it's alright if you're using the left turn. Now, left turns and right turns, they're different. Eye Teleporter really doesn't matter because it's symmetrical. You can work left or right, and it doesn't really matter. It works at most lanes too. But yeah, that's 0.7. Now 0.8 is actually 49 units, which is one of the biggest ones. Besides 0.9, which that one is just massive. But generally, the best turn for 0.8 is generally right turns, and that being the Darkseed tree. If you don't have the Darkseed tree, it is a Halloween exclusive, sadly. And there's not a lot of better replacements for Darkseed. You kind of really need it, which is sad. But yeah, that's the 0.8. And those are line lengths. Hopefully that explains or clears something out about line lengths. Next, let's go on to some upgrader tricks. Now, you have the Dragon cannon right here. And as you can see, there's a Toxic Spirit of Fire. It works better with the shiny. That's what I've been told. I haven't tested it for myself, but it still works with the normal if you have the normal. And if you have Methane Skyfleet, you can also use Stratospheric, but remember with Stratospheric, it's longer than Methane, so it actually takes up more units, and it's generally not that much worth it. With Methane, it actually doesn't take up any more than the Spirit of Fire. But anyways, if you place it 2 units away from the Dragon cannon, and with the platform being down 1, you can actually, if you position it correctly right there, like that, it will actually hit both upgrades. And now, the Cornucopia. Cornucopia only works at 1 spot on your base, and I believe only on your first turn. And that is 14 units in front of the Dragon cannon. Now, what a lot of people do is use Executive Pillars right there, Spirit of Fire, and then Pizzaless, and then Cornucopia. Now, what makes it harder is that the middle platform, which then you can use Quantum Clockwork, Swag City, Vulcan's Wrath, and Tropical Breeze, that is actually 20 units in front of the Dragon cannon. Now, what's so weird about that is that when you place Cornucopia down, I'm sorry, I meant 13 when I said Cornucopia. Sorry about that. 13 and 2, I'm gonna have to do this, 8. Yeah, 13 places you at 19, which leaves a 1 unit gap, which is hard because Excellent is probably the only one that you can use because Frosted Refiner doesn't upgrade right now, it's glitched. And well, Lollipop Refiner is kind of just for looks. It's not the greatest. But yeah, if you don't have anything there, you can try Cornucopia 14. Sometimes it works, but it's generally most consistent 13 units. So that is sad. That is sad about that. You can also try the middle platform 19. Sometimes that works at some rotations. By the way, rotations do affect the setup a lot. That is something. There's something with how the physics works in this game, where rotating your setup actually affects ores and affects how consistent turns are, how consistent tricks are. It's weird. And now the last but not least, the Eval Line tricks. Now, this Eval Line trick is actually probably one of the most crazy ones because, well, if you see Black Dwarf right there and Empyrean, the ore is getting reset and also going through Empyrean Monument at the same time. So it gets a huge upgrade plus getting reset, which saves you a bunch of space in your main setup so you don't have to use Empyrean in your main setup. And that's basically it. If you want to know how to set it up, it's 12 units in front of the cannon. That's where you place Black Dwarf. You place it slightly offset right there and have the ores go like right, kind of like in this general vicinity. And then what you do with Empyrean, you place it directly on top of Black Dwarf. Make sure that Empyrean is max height, or else you won't get as good of a multiplier. And if you do that, you have to place it 1 unit after the Black Dwarf. So there's 1 unit gap right here. And then for the Eval Line, sometimes if it doesn't work with 1 unit gap right here, do a 2 unit gap. And if that doesn't work, try a different rotation. If that doesn't work, then something's bothering your Eval Line, most likely a turn. Turns do affect your Eval Lines and how it works. And I hope that this kind of semi-tutorial, semi-guide kind of help clear up some things about some general misconceptions about Miner's Haven and Dragon Cannon setups, because generally, if you know what you're doing, they're not that hard to make. They just are very time consuming, especially. And also, when you are making your setup, plan out your items. Don't go just directly to placing. Now, you'll know that, Spirit of Fire goes right there, and Cornucopia goes there, Quantum goes there, all that stuff, and Empyrean goes there. But you don't know where any of the other upgraders go, such as Dreamer's Life, Enchanted Library, Trinity, Big Fungus. You don't know where those are going to go. So what I do is I get a calculator, and say I'm making a 0.8, 0.6. So that's 49 units plus a 0.6, 38 units. That's 49 plus 38. If I can do that math, I am really bad. That's 45 plus 38. That is 83 units. Now, what I do, I get 83 units. Say I want to use Legendary Peppermint. Usually that's used. That's 3. You just minus 83 minus 3, 80 more units. And you do that until you get 0 units left. And that's the basic way of planning your setup. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye now.